That's right, Mark. After a mostly peaceful protest all afternoon, the dispersal order was given. A large group of a couple hundred protesters began to move away from Alameda Street, but in the last few minutes, about 100 of them have now made their way through a fence and onto the 101 freeway. Now, CHP has been very quick to form a skirmish line on the freeway. The group briefly went onto the other side of the freeway, the southbound side, and now you see things becoming more confrontational here as they really try to push this group off to the side, off of the southbound side. You can see this one person really putting up a bit of a fight here, but you can see they are really making some serious headway here as just a few moments ago, look at this, it's turning into a brawl down there, starting to get a bit ugly as they really push this crowd off the freeway. I tell you, I mean, all day long we've been watching them peacefully exercise their First Amendment rights, but now they are in a confrontation with California Highway Patrol, really putting up a fight here, being very resistant, not wanting to get off of the freeway. They see this as an ideal way to disrupt traffic and disrupt everything going on around, so they just took that opportunity, even as the entrance ramps were completely blocked off by California Highway Patrol, who were so ready for something like this. This group found a particular hole in a fence and then made their way onto the freeway. I say about 100 people now on the freeway as they try and reopen traffic here. Go ahead and widen up. I want to show you just a few moments ago, both lanes of the freeway were completely shut down. In a matter of, like, I would say maybe 5 or 10 minutes, they have now moved most of those people off of the freeway. There's a couple still down there, and hopefully traffic will begin moving here once again momentarily. You can see it looks like a large portion of this group does appear to be cooperating now. Again, a little tense there for a little bit. There were a few people being very uncooperative, a lot of anger, a lot of emotions down there. But CHP, I've got to tell you, Mark and Giovanna, CHP was really ready for something like this. They still have all of their reinforcements up at the entrance ramps, all of the surrounding exit ramps. But this group here moved right into action and quickly put on their helmets, their batons, and was able to reopen the freeway here just in a matter of minutes. You can see a lot of those protesters now retreating back onto Aliso Street, which parallels the 101 freeway. Again, good job by California Highway Patrol, guys. At least two people that you're looking at right there. You're right, being detained there. These are two of the ones that were putting up a bit of a struggle. When these CHP units first rolled up on this group that rushed the freeway, they were instantly encountered by bottles, water bottles being thrown at the vehicles and at those CHP officers as they were getting out of the vehicles. There was an immediate attempt to, move this group away, and that's when we came onto the air and you saw a couple of fights breaking out. So, yes, there's a couple of really disorderly people that are now being taken into custody, at least two that you mentioned that we see. It looks like most of the group, are now moving away from the freeway. There's a skirmish line now right along the side of the freeway. Again, that is thanks to CHP's quick reaction here on the 101. By all accounts, today has been by far the most successful day of peaceful protest until around 2 or 3 o'clock when that dispersal order was given. What started as a protest of about 400 people at its peak, 300 to 400 people, most of them obeyed the dispersal order, but there were probably in the neighborhood of 100 protesters who refused to leave the front of the federal building and are still in the process of being zip-tied and placed under arrest at Alameda and Temple Street. So it's been largely peaceful, but there was a large group of about 100 protesters who disobeyed that dispersal order and were then considered to be participating in an unlawful assembly at that point. They are being placed onto buses. They will be given citations, but they are not really that I wouldn't even consider them agitators. They just were disobedient, and they were peacefully sitting in the roadway and then taken into custody. As of right now, we have not seen any of that really reckless vandal activity. We haven't seen any kind of looting like we saw overnight, maybe a little graffiti here and there. I haven't seen it firsthand, but for the most part, this appears to be just raw emotion down there. These folks looking for any way to make their voices heard, and now that CHP is moving in, you can see they're back to Aliso Street marching peacefully. However, this is now still an unlawful assembly, and they are blocking traffic. And that will give law enforcement, primarily LAPD, authorization to begin making more arrests. The idea was to keep them away from the federal building, and they have now done that. They've moved away from the federal building. The few that are still over there on Alameda Street are being detained. However, this group here is continuing to march peacefully. We will see what LAPD decides to do if they continue to block traffic, guys. Let's take a look. Bingo. Let's show traffic. Yep. Good job, guys. Roughly 10 to 15. Copy that. Out my window for a second, if you could. These groups are going to meet up. That large group's going to go on their way up to Temple and Alameda. Yep. Burbank's a little closer too. Let's go back to that big group over there, I think. We'll keep an eye on this too, but it looks like they've cleared it. I'm down with either Tyler Burbank or Hawthorne, either way. Cool. Hey there, Christina. We are out of fuel. Oh, yeah. 10-4. Are they?
Thank you everybody who's just joining, guys. We're back here in the intersection of Alameda and First Street, where they have kettled in a group of people that refuse to leave the area after they call this an unlawful assembly. Dispersal orders were given. Those people who are not sitting down, they will be subject to arrest, most likely cited and released within a couple of hours. A small group, as I just showed you guys, has gathered around to protest the arrest of these people. I know, thank you so much for that as well.
Sir, these young people left their car there, so they get in their car so they can go out. Two young people have a car right there. And you guys
gaffer tape of any kind? Do you have like duct tape or gaffer tape? Any of that? Someone want to buy gas so she needs to tape it up. Oh, I think she's loading up the car.
Is that your battery?
Stay here and not.
At the same time. So you see like this young woman here, one of the officers signaled to her to come her way because she has to be detained by a woman. So female officer pointed at her, called her over toward her, and what they do is they put the flex cuffs on first, and then they search your person. They want to make sure that you don't have anything on you that could potentially harm any of the officers, and then eventually they'll walk the person away to an area where everybody else is also detained, and that's when they will take your information, they'll wait for a bus, get you on there, and eventually get you back to the jail to be booked and processed. Yeah, a lot of LAPD resources that have been taken away from other things throughout the city. And one of the things I've noticed over the last few days is we're not talking about officers just from Central Division, which is where we're at. We're talking about officers coming from all over the city of Los Angeles. The LAPD has 21 divisions. That's how they're split up. So we're talking about agencies as far as the San Fernando Valley or West Los Angeles that have come to Central LA to assist officers here with arrests and crowd control and traffic control and just things of that nature. So we're talking about officers that are outside of the streets that they know and are being taken away from potential calls in their areas to respond to the incidents that are taking place here in downtown LA. Yeah, it's still shut down. I still see some movement here. I believe these are all patrol units. Yeah, these look like patrol units. Pardon me as I shoot into the sun, but the traffic is still being held back. Now it's beyond Alameda. Let me move over. I think, yeah, so they changed it. Now it's to the 110 freeway. So you're not going to be able to continue onto the 101 freeway beyond the 4-level interchange there with the 110. So until everyone is taken into custody, I don't think we will see the 101 reopen. It's a different story for the opposite side of the freeway. As you see there, that's the northbound side of the 101. That is open at this time, but again, the southbound side still shut down while these arrests take place. And I'm so glad you used the word hotspot, Michael, because that's actually a term that I heard last night when we were on our coverage. The airships overhead from the police department, that's exactly what they were looking for. They were looking for what they called hotspots, areas where you had these large groups that were gathered or groups that were not necessarily large, but that they were what or we could say up to no good, starting fires, causing vandalism, looting different locations. So that is something that law enforcement is clearly looking out for, is any type of situation where people are behaving badly. And in this case, we had a large group of people that got onto the 101 freeway, and hence the arrests that are taking place now. To your right? Yeah, and I'm just moving the shot over a little bit. My pilot, Sarah Garbetian, was saying he's seeing some activity here. This is Alameda, and to the right, Sarah? Yeah, so he says to the right. He was seeing some activity here. So I'm going to try to get a good shot of it here, but right out my window now? Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we have lots of activity here taking place. Oh, I see what he says. Okay, so thank you, Saro. So we have what look like officers here on what look like Bearcats that are making their way here through the downtown Los Angeles area. So this is on Judge John Aiso Street, leaving the federal building area. So you can just clearly see how many officers are here. Not only officers in those single-man or two-man patrol units, you have additional officers that are arriving on these what look like Bearcat type vehicles hanging off of the sides, each vehicle carrying about a dozen officers ready to respond to that next scene wherever people may be committing acts of violence here in the downtown LA area. Yeah, I saw at least 3 of them, but these are just the ones we spotted. I can only imagine that there's more. I think this is another one I hadn't counted. Oh, look, there you go. So yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, so as I widen out the shot, we're going to see more and more. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are fully equipped here with officers, probably about a dozen to a vehicle, and just beyond that, one vehicle without anyone hanging off of the sides. But clearly a very large police presence taking place here in the downtown LA area, and all of these do appear to be LAPD officers based off of the uniform, but they are joined in the downtown LA area by deputies from the LA County Sheriff's Department, Ventura County, Orange County, as well as members of the National Guard that have come to defend some of the federal buildings. They're actually headed north on Alameda toward Temple, Michael. So they're getting that much closer to where we were watching all of those folks be arrested off of the freeway. So I don't know if they're going to join up with them. I can't imagine that they would need to. There's already so many officers there off of the 101 freeway making those arrests, but they are currently heading eastbound on Temple. If they make this northbound turn, that they will definitely end up toward the freeway. So we'll see if that is the direction that they're going. And I do see an inmate bus. I see 2 inmate buses. Okay, so I see 2 inmate buses now making this northbound turn. Perhaps those are the buses that are going to transport the arrestees that we just saw detained here off of the 101 freeway. Yeah, they had a mass arrest by the federal building earlier off of Alameda, and now it looks like these buses are arriving on scene of where we have these demonstrators that continue to be detained, but it looks like they're just about done. Yeah, so usually what happens is, of course, after they're detained and they're searched of their person to make sure they don't have anything harmful on them, that is when officers will take their information. If they have their ID, they'll, of course, take that information. And then the people will be put onto some of those transport buses. In this case, you just saw the inmate buses, very large buses that are probably going to fit most of the folks here, but sometimes they have something called a slammer van, so a much smaller van that will take these transports to the jail, and at that point everyone is fingerprinted, booked, And in most of these cases, since these are not something you would consider a violent crime that would require that somebody be detained for more than a day, they will likely be just booked and released, given a court date, told to come back at a certain date. And you know, most of these folks will be home tonight. Is the reality of it. They do. They tag their belongings to make sure that they get them back at some point. Very similar to if you were actually booked and detained in a jail for more than a day, and you would have to be forced to change out of your what are called street clothes and put into prison garb. Then the clothes that you came in with, your shoes or anything else that was in your possession, is collected. It's tagged so that when you are released from the jail, you get all of your belongings back. It's a huge presence, and there's nobody else to detain here anymore. It looks like they took everyone into custody. And look at this 101 freeway. Now that everyone is in custody, looks like the eastbound or southbound side of the 101 freeway has reopened. The northbound side never shut down, though clearly delays here throughout the area because of all of this police presence. Understandably, people can't help but to slow down and take a look. So we do have one inmate bus that came here, and that's the one that's going to transport all of these people. My pilot, Saro, kept an eye on the other vehicles, and he said they continued on to Central, which is just one street over here to the east. So he said they went over toward the train station. So they're over toward Grand and Central is what he's telling me. So they're just over here by the train station here. You see the train tracks there on the top of the frame. So he said they went that way, but they did leave one inmate bus behind to transport all of these arrestees. At least, yeah, 30 minutes or so, probably more, and the damage is done. There's no way the 101 freeway is going to recover in time for the evening time commute. So if you can avoid coming this way today, that really is your best bet. Again, you have options like Cesar Chavez runs north of the 101. It runs parallel to it. It becomes Sunset, so that's an option. You can, of course, stay south of here, take the 10 freeway through the area, or you can take the South 5 to avoid being in these delays, because again, the freeway has reopened, but the slowdown remains. Yeah, huge police department presence here, mostly CHP and LAPD from what we were able to see here based off of the patrol units, but lots of arrests that took place, several dozen people here that are now in custody off of Commercial Street. But you'll remember that wasn't the entire group. It was actually a much larger group. Most of them walked away, and most of them walked away toward Mocha. They went toward there's Mocha there. So most of them had walked over to this intersection here at Temple and Alameda, where they rallied for a bit. We do still have some people left behind, but the group itself has shrunk considerably. And just beyond this on Alameda here, I'm going to show you another group of people that was detained, and they've been out here for hours. We were over here at 3 o'clock when this group was just starting to get detained, and you can see that they're still here up against the wall here in those flex cuffs, waiting to be processed here and taken to jail. Yeah, that group was even bigger. They're just under us, but it looked to be at least 50 people. I think the women have been taken away already. It looked like everyone who was left at this point was male, but still looking at multiple dozens of people that have been detained here on Alameda, in addition to the people who were detained on Commercial Street. Yeah, this is Alameda, so it is closed. It's been closed for multiple days. Unheard of that Alameda would be closed for so long. It's such a big street here through the area, and it has been shut down at least since Friday because of these demonstrations that have been taking place. The demonstrators that you see here, they're actually on the overpass here. This is the Alameda Street overpass for the 101 freeway. So again, even though the freeway has reopened, I can only imagine that if you're driving through and you're seeing these large groups of people overhead, you can't help but to slow down and take a look, and that is what is contributing to some of the delays here on the freeway. But again, Alameda Street here at the 101 freeway. It normally doesn't take that long, so I'm actually surprised that they're still out here, unless these are new arrestees. It could be that the ones that were out here were already taken away, and then these were new ones that were mixed in. Oh, there's the women. So yeah, I didn't see them the first time around, so looks like we do still have some women that are detained there, and then this larger group, these are all the men that are still here waiting for these transport buses to arrive to take them away. These are a lot of people. So all in all, I think at the end of the day, we're probably going to end up with a couple hundred arrests when you add up all of the arrests from today. Yeah, and I wonder if it's because of the close proximity to the freeway that they want to get those people first. But as soon as that bus gets full, then they can send another one this way. We did notice there were at least two in the area, so realistically, there should be another one responding here to take these people away. But again, we have all of these arrestees here. We have some demonstrators still there on Alameda. And then this is Commercial Street here, where we have all of these other arrestees right next to the Dash facility and the 101 freeway. Correct, yeah. So we have detainees here. We have detainees there on Alameda. And we still have pockets of demonstrators throughout the LA area. But at this point, no word yet on officers trying to move in to take them into custody, though they would be within the right to do so. The dispersal order was issued a while ago. It's been repeated time and time again. So people have had plenty of opportunities to leave. So again, if you are still here, you do run the risk of being detained. And all of the people here on Alameda are currently running that risk. Let me tilt up and check that end, which would be the north side of the 101. At this point, yeah, I'm actually not seeing any officers there. They very well could leave. They can't go east or west because they're on the overpass, of course. So so yeah, they would. Yeah, so yeah, exactly. They would walk over the overpass, continue north here on Alameda. Right here, this is actually our Arcadia Street, so you can actually walk on that. A lot of people are doing that, so you can walk away east or west if you walk down to Arcadia Street. So it's not a situation where these people are trapped and can't walk away. They're just choosing not to. And we may see that, Michael, but I think part of the reason we haven't seen it happen yet is just probably lack of resources over here and too many resources over here. So I think once all of these people are put onto a bus, then that's going to free up all of these assets, and then they can just make the walk there to Temple and Alameda. A very short little walk and possibly take those people into custody. You see what looks like civilians here on the right side of the screen, but I believe these are all members of the media, and again, lots of law enforcement. So I think once they get freed up, we may see additional arrests take place on Alameda. Yeah, so many officers. That's Alameda. This is the freeway, Carolyn. As you were saying, this isn't a nearby street. It's literally the freeway. So it's the off ramp though, so that is keeping all of the regular lanes open. However, understandably, this is going to slow people down. You can't stop but to take a look at all of this activity. I'm not even going to try to count how many units are out here, because we're going to put it at about 100, probably more. There's just so many officers that are on scene. But perhaps that is the LAPD tactic today, is make our presence known, let people see us out in full force, and making these arrests swiftly and quickly. And perhaps we won't see some of the violence that we saw downtown last night in the LA area. Absolutely. We are seeing arrests take place a lot quicker and a lot earlier in the day. And I think in part that is because what we've witnessed over the last few days is as the sun goes down, that is when you get the people out here who aren't out here for the cause. They're out here to create chaos. And I believe that is what LAPD is trying to take care of today, is try to make these arrests earlier in the day to try to prevent some of the incidents that we saw last night. We saw officers assaulted. We saw one motor officer hit in the head with a bottle. He had to be taken away in a rescue ambulance. We saw LAPD squad cars surrounded by demonstrators, making it unable to move. We saw a skateboard thrown at one of their vehicles. We saw multiple trash fires and car fires. So those are the types of activities that officers are trying to prevent early today, if possible. And now we see some of the arrestees being escorted away from the area where they were, up against that patch of dirt there, up against the 101 freeway. And I'm going to widen out. I want to see if maybe the bus is here. Sure enough. Okay, so yeah, there's the transport bus. So they're going to get loaded in there. Men's Central Jail would be the nearest jail. I don't know if they can take them straight there, or if they have to take them to Central Division of the LAPD. I can only imagine that they would be extremely overwhelmed there if that was the case. But we do see the arrestees getting onto this sheriff's bus here on Commercial Street. Yeah, at this time of the day, a lot of people getting off of work, hitting the road to go home. It's already the busiest time in the evening, and especially that southbound or eastbound commute. A lot of people leaving the LA area who live in areas like San Gabriel Valley or Orange County who have to make that very long commute. And today it will be a little bit slower here through the area because the southbound 101 was shut down for a very long time. But even though now the regular lanes are open, this is what you're going to see when you drive by. So I don't know a person who wouldn't be able to slow down to take a look, because it's unlike anything we've ever seen before. This many officers here right off the 101 freeway making mass arrests all throughout the downtown LA area. That is an excellent point, Carolyn, and I think you're right. I don't think that everyone's going to remain here, but I would venture to say that all of the units here that are furthest to the right, they're probably going to stay there, just to act as a deterrent here, because it again is where they got on before. So perhaps if another group comes along and thinks that it's a good idea, they're going to see all of the squad cars, and even if they're empty, at least it will perhaps prevent people from getting back on the freeway. I believe so. I believe that's what's going to happen, because at this point, their services are really not needed here with these folks. You can see that each individual arrestee has an officer with him or her, so that should be plenty to escort them onto the sheriff's bus. And everybody else who really doesn't have a duty right now will be free to move on to other hotspots in the city. And currently, one of the larger groups that we are seeing is really not far at all. It's just a hop and a skip away here on Alameda and Aliso Street here, right outside of the federal jail here, where we do still have a large crowd on the Alameda overpass. Yeah, exactly. They're free to just continue walking north on Alameda. They can go north of that, or they can turn onto Arcadia Street here, which is this street here running through the screen, and go east or west from there and be free to go without being detained. But of course, it is if they continue to stay here in the area, considering that dispersal order has been issued and it has been repeated time and time again over the last several hours in multiple languages. If you do remain in the downtown LA area, you do run the risk of being detained, and clearly arrests are taking place early today, much earlier than what we've witnessed here over the last few days. And this is one of the areas where we saw one of these mass arrests take place. It's Commercial Street, just south of the 101 freeway. This is one of the sheriff's transport buses, and of course, the LA County Sheriff's Department, they're in charge of our jails here in the LA area. So one of their transport buses is where all of these arrestees are going to be escorted onto and then taken to jail to be booked and processed. Most of them, unless they committed some sort of other violent crime, should be likely booked and released today or tomorrow morning. But again, all taking place here in downtown LA. Well, thank you. Okay. And this is on Commercial Street, just south of the 101 freeway, not far from Alameda. Now, this all started when we had dozens, if not hundreds of demonstrators make their way onto the 101 freeway, blocking all lanes and keeping that 101 southbound shut down for quite some time. You can see the very large police presence, though, that is here now. They responded to the call when those demonstrators made their way onto the highway. They were able to force everyone off, and most of them walked away. However, the people who stuck around, they are now in police custody. As I push in here, you're going to see that you have what look to be perhaps 2 to 3 dozen people that have been detained here, and they're about to board a sheriff's bus to be processed, booked, and likely released either late tonight or tomorrow morning. But again, all of these folks were part of a demonstration that made its way on to the freeway, and that's completely separate from the whole dispersal order aspect of it all. There is a dispersal order here for the downtown LA area. An unlawful assembly has been declared, and they keep repeating the message every 15 minutes or so that if you are in the area, you will be detained. So today we have seen a number of arrests much earlier than we did yesterday. That is the latest here from downtown Los Angeles, News Chopper 4. I'm Eliana Marino. Back to you in the studio. Okay.